Okay, imagine you're holding your phone, about to ask Google something. You press the voice button, right? But what if that simple action suddenly became a portal to an entirely different way of interacting with technology? That's exactly what Google's new voice redesign is trying to do, and honestly, it's way more interesting than just another UI tweak. Let me explain why this isn't just about convenience, but about how Google is quietly reshaping how we talk to machines. First off, the basics. Google's voice search button now has a toolbar with 4 modes: Search, AI mode, Search Live, and Song Search. At first glance, this feels like Google Lens's Makeover, but here's what's actually fascinating. They're merging active voice commands with passive listening in real time. Think about that. You're not just barking a query and waiting for a response anymore. You're having a conversation. And that shift? It's not just Google playing catch-up with Alexa or Siri. This is them betting that the future of search is fluid, not transactional. Let's break down AI mode for a second. Personally, I think this is where Google is testing its generative AI muscles in the wild. When you use AI mode, you're not getting a snippet of information. You're getting a synthesized response that might pull from multiple sources, opinions, or even hypotheticals. But here's the kicker. It's still anchored to Google's core identity as an information organizer. So while competitors like Bing Chat lean into AI as a creative partner, Google seems to be saying, "We'll help you think faster, but we're not here to replace your thinking." A calculated move? Absolutely. But also one that might limit how far they can go. And then there's Search Live. What makes this feature really interesting is how it blurs the line between voice search and ambient computing. Google's been teasing this for years with OK Google commands, but Search Live feels like a live feed of your surroundings. Imagine walking through a city, asking your phone, "What's that building?" and getting a real-time answer without lifting a finger. This isn't just voice search, it's voice navigation for the physical world. But here's a question. Are we ready for a world where our devices constantly listen, even if they're not activated? Google's betting that subtle cues, like a pulsing waveform, will make us comfortable with this gray area. Now, song search staying the same might seem like an oversight, but I'd argue it's a smart contrast. Music recognition is one of those set-it-and-forget-it tools that just works. By leaving it untouched, Google is subconsciously telling us, "Trust us with the basics, we're focusing on the future now." But honestly, isn't that a bit worrying? When a company starts treating features like legacy versus experimental, where does that leave users who just want reliability? I'm not saying this is a bad thing, but it's a reminder that Google's priorities are shifting toward innovation at the expense of, well, stability. The part that keeps me up at night? How the app remembers your last mode. On the surface, it's a tiny convenience. No one wants to tap AI mode every time they ask for a recipe summary. But zoom out. This is Google training us to accept a world where our tools anticipate our needs before we articulate them. It's not just about remembering preferences, it's about shaping behavior. If you default to AI mode, you'll start phrasing questions differently. You'll ask, "How should I invest $10,000?" instead of "What's the stock market doing?" And that subtle shift changes how we relate to information itself. Instead of seeking facts, we're outsourcing decisions. So here's my final thought. Google's voice redesign isn't about voice at all. It's about conditioning us to interact with AI in ways that feel natural, even as those interactions become more invasive. The microphone icon is just a gateway drug. What they're really selling is a future where you don't just search for answers, you debate them, live with them, and maybe even surrender some autonomy to a machine that claims to understand you better than you understand yourself. Is that the world you want? Let me know in the comments, because honestly, I'm not sure I've decided yet.